everyone. Just taking a quick drive. Sorry, I had to take a drink. Taking a quick drive over to the Seminary Ridge Museum and Educational Center. Well, actually, Valentine Hall at the seminary. Because that's where they're showing the movie. It's the first showing of, I believe, 20. All sold out. Technically, they weren't sold tickets. They're free. So I don't know what you call it when they're free. So it's not sold out, but whatever the free equivalent is. So I'm just going over to check it out. Bo asked me to go take a look. He has a meeting, so he's not going to be able to do it. And I'm kind of curious to see what the crowd is like and all the enthusiasm and whatnot and so on and so forth. Found out that I am not needed for a panel. Pete Mealy's going to take over the hosting duties of said panel tomorrow. I believe it's at 6. I'm still going to go just to see it. And I'm going to, if they're taking questions, I'm going to raise my hand and say, was that Martin Sheen I saw out in the foyer? No, I think that's a little too much of the Martin Sheen. Okay, I gotta space him out. Otherwise, yeah. That's what we're doing. So I just thought I'd let you see. Got new wipers. I know you're proud. And also, it's raining. Thank God I got these new wipers. Freezing cold and rain. Well, it's 42 degrees. Let me put my hand out the window and see if I would call that freezing cold. I mean, I wouldn't want to be exposed to this for too long, but it's not unbearable. I mean, if it were freezing cold, it would be nasty. It would be freezing rain or snow or sleet or God knows what else. So, you know, I guess it's good there. But otherwise, it's a gorgeous day, as you can see. That's right. Who just said that? I hate the thing disappears here. Paranormal Bruce says it's always sunny in Gettysburg. That's right. Even when it's raining. Even when it's raining. And yeah, you know, you make a point, even in rain, Gettysburg is awesome. It's true. The vistas that you can get at different points around here, like where I am now, north of town. In fact, I'm going to turn. When you look to the west, which is the direction I'm going to go in a second, you can see, you know, if you got a good vantage point, you can see storms rolling in over the mountains. A couple days ago, we had some flurries, and you could see the cloud bank coming in over the mountains, but you could see exactly where the flurries were and where they weren't, because the mountain was completely obscured by the flurries themselves, not the cloud, but the falling snow. And I love that. I don't know why, I just love that. And I think it goes back to when I was in Barbados. I want to say 10 years old. And we were there. My family went, my cousins, and, you know, like a whole bunch of us were down there. And we went, I guess it was actually a booze cruise, but we were allowed on it. For some reason, I guess they don't care down there. Anyway, it was the Jolly Roger. It's an old pirate ship. And we're out on the ocean, and I remember my dad pointing off in the distance to this dark purple spot on the horizon. And he said, you see that cloud out there? And I said, yeah. And he says, you see how there's like kind of a line in the same color, kind of going at an angle from the cloud down to the water? And I said, yeah. He goes, what do you think that is? And I said, that's the cloud. He goes, no, look closely. He goes, that's the rain. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And so now I do it all the time. In fact, I just did it the other day to Cindy. Because I told her this story before. That's where my obsession with seeing, not obsession, the excitement from seeing storms coming in the distance comes from is my dad. And so every time I go, oh, see the rain? She looks, she goes, oh yeah. Because sometimes you can see where it's not raining. It's the same cloud bank, and you get that line of, it's like a smear of the same color of the cloud coming down to the ground in one spot, but not everywhere. And I don't know, I always just thought that was so cool. Where am I going? Oh yeah, to the seminary. Let's see, which way should I go? I'm gonna go left. Well, no. If I go left, there's a big line of cars. I don't want to wait for them, and I don't want to get stuck behind them. So I'm going right, and we're gonna go Hers Ridge Road. Good chance I might lose you heading up the ridge, but it will be back momentarily. It just often happens that way. I was, paranormal says, I was sitting on to Devil's Den one day, and a superb thunderstorm rolled in. I closed my eyes, and it sounded like yes. Oh, I do the same thing, paranormal. Close your eyes, and it's what you imagine cannons would have sounded like in the distance, and the lightning added to it. So Devil's Den and Little Round Top are my favorite vantage points to watch a storm come in. And in the summertime, you can see some real good ones coming. There was a show on the Travel Channel called, what the hell was it called? Mysterious Journeys. And they were in town. My girlfriend was a rector, and she needed a ride to the Cashtown Inn because they were shooting there, and she had a part. And so I drove her there, out doing some work, and got to talking to one of the producers. And I was like, "How do you get into this business? I want to do this." She's like, "Oh, you got to know somebody, you know." I'm like, "Oh." And then I walked away, slump-shouldered, and the Charlie Brown "Christmas Time Is Here" played in the background. And I was sitting on the porch, continuing to work. About an hour later, and she comes over, the producer, and she says, "Hey, are you off tomorrow?" And I said, "Yeah, I happen to be off tomorrow." I actually wasn't, but I changed my schedule because I knew what was coming. And she's like, "Would you want to work with us?" I said, "Sure." She's like, "Okay, good, because we have our B camera crew going around." This is how I became the master of uncredited B-roll. We have our B camera crew going around to get some shots, and we need somebody who knows, you know, good areas in the battlefield to get some shots from. I was like, "Oh, I got you covered," because I'd taken up painting that year, and I started looking at things differently. So we go up Little Round Top, and we get up there, and one of the guys, as we crest the crest of Little Round Top, he looks out over the valley, and he goes, "Wow, that is one tall mountain." And I look and I go, "Yeah, I don't remember it being that tall." And then I go, "Wait a minute, that's not a mountain, that's a storm coming in." And because it was the same color as the mountains, and it created a nice little illusion. So what was cool about it was a bright blue sunny sky, except for this dark purple blotch, and it would be coming in from the direction of the mountain, what the ski mountain there, or Fairfield. It would have been coming in from like Fairfield. So the kid in charge of the crew said, "All right, we're gonna just do a time lapse here. We're gonna just wait here until that storm comes over our head." And so we did. It was like an hour or so, but it was so cool because there were lightning strikes. I mean, like good, solid lightning strikes. And then when they sped it up in the final show, it looked really neat, coming in over. And I fell in love with that. So when there's a storm coming, if I have the time, I run up on Little Round Top and I wait until it's like right over me, and then I get in my car and I go. I love a good summer storm. All right, that was too long amount of time, too much time, devoted to talking about the love of watching storms. For those of you just joining us, we're heading to the Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, Valentine Hall, actually, at the seminary, just to see what's going on with the first viewing of A Gettysburg Christmas there. It starts at 4, gonna be a little late, but I'm just popping in to see. I'm not staying. Yeah, it was incredible, paranormal. And you know, you talking about the distant thunder, and imagining that's what a battle sounds like. A couple of years ago, we had a phenomenon, which I had never experienced before. And it was like this rolling thunder that was constant. I'd never heard this a day in my life. Just this constant rumbling. I don't know, is it high in the atmosphere? I don't know what that is. But there was no rain. Well, there's no rain where we were. It was off in the distance. The storm was, I don't know, a good chunk of miles north of us, maybe 10 miles up in Biglerville or something. And you could see it was a dark sky. And Eric lived up there at the time, and he said that they got a lot of rain. But we could just hear this constant rumbling of thunder. And I actually got my recorder out to record it to use in the narratives as, distant battle sounds, because I was like, this has to be what the guys were talking about when they would describe it as rolling thunder. The sound of a distant battle. Hundreds of cannon going off indiscriminately and like other explosions and muskets and stuff. Has to be what it sounds like. And unfortunately, and there's probably stuff I can pull from there, but there's so many cars going by because I lived in town at the time. But I'm gonna try someday. But yeah, it's a cool thing, and I imagine it's what a battle sounds like too, because I'm a nerd like that. Hey, Peter, Zach, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Storms are great to watch, but I was struck, so I'm a little sketched out with lightning. Is that true? I have never known anybody who was struck by lightning. That's amazing. Estimated profit, how are you? Hey, Estella, who says, hi, Matt. What a wonderful, busy, blessed time you have had. I'm happy for you. Yes, thank you, Estella. I am exhausted. I thought I had the weekend, today a light day, and then Saturday and Sunday completely off. And then Dave texted me and he said, hey, just confirming that you're still good for the 2 shows you have scheduled for Saturday. And I looked at my calendar, and sure enough, I have 2 shows scheduled. And I was like, oh no! So then I gotta go one more day before my first day off since last Friday, and that is going to be Sunday. Sunday, I am not. Jesus Harold Christmas can come down and say, Matt, let's go get dinner. I'll be like, sorry, geez, I gotta have a home cooked meal for the first time in 8 days. So, yeah, it's been a fun week, man. We had a lot of fun. It really, I gotta hand it to Bo. He knows how to pick good people to have around him. I mean, obviously, we'll start with me at the top of the list, but then there's the others. The cast of that movie and the cast and the crew, all fun. It felt like, when my friends and I made a movie in high school, and we would get together on the weekends, and we would just be all about the movie, and then we'd have fun, in the process, and hang out afterwards. And it was a lot of fun hanging out with them. Paranormal. Well, that was very nice of you. Thank you, Paranormal. I appreciate that. I'm glad you love the videos, and I'll try to keep doing them as best I can. Speaking of videos, I bought my Canon. What is it? Is it AX or XA? I should probably remember that so the gear heads don't get all bent out of shape. But it's a video camera. And I want to vomit still from the amount of money I had to spend on it. But can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. All right, the parking lot is packed. People very excited to see a Gettysburg Christmas, a Bo Brinkman film based on a Craig Rupp story. And I'm going to go and take a look and see. And there's a spot. I'll back into that one. The backup cameras are okay, but I don't know, to me, nothing beats good old-fashioned looking over your shoulder until you pop a disc in your neck. All right, everybody, I got to get inside before I disturb everything. Have yourselves a great day. Hope it's not raining where you are. But as they say, Sim Salabim.